Welcome to the Balance Hormone Solution podcast. If you're a woman, 35 plus, feeling exhausted, struggling to lose weight, and wondering where your libido went, this is for you. I am Tracy Aaron, a functional medicine practitioner who helps women balance their hormones naturally without prescriptions, guesswork, or trendy nonsense. Because here's the truth. Your symptoms aren't random. They're signals. And if you know how to listen, you can fix the root cause and start feeling like yourself again. If you're ready for real solutions, let's get to it. Hello, and welcome back to the Balanced Hormone Solution podcast. Today, we're going to talk about something very basic, but something that I believe is wildly misunderstood. Perimenopause. Because somewhere along the way, women were taught that perimenopause equals hot flashes and missed periods. And if you're not having those, then you must not be there yet. But here's the truth. Perimenopause is so much more than that. And for many women, it starts years before they realize what's happening. So today, we are answering 3 questions. Number 1, what even is perimenopause? And number 2, how do you know if you're in it? And number 3, what can you actually do to support your body through it? All right, so let's go with number 1. What is perimenopause? Well, perimenopause simply means around menopause. It's the transitional phase leading up to menopause, which is officially diagnosed. The clinical definition is menopause is the state where you have gone 12 consecutive months without a period. Technically, if you define it that way, which our medical system does, menopause is one day in time. So you're premenopause and postmenopause. But we just kind of call it, we lump it into a season, menopausal, and that works too. But perimenopause, that around menopause, the time before then, can begin as early as your mid to late 30s. Everybody hits this magic date of menopause on their own time frame. And yes, there are lots of factors to go into that. In fact, that would be an interesting episode to really cover what makes perimenopause actually transpire in our lives. What are the physiological features that happen in our bodies that either make it happen early or late? What does it even mean to be early or late, right? We'll get to that on another one. That's kind of interesting to me. But for now, I want you to know that perimenopause can begin as early as your mid to late 30s, and it typically lasts around 5 to 10 years. Okay, so typical menopause happens somewhere around 51, right? Or in Western industrialized cultures, it's around age 51 is what we know. So go 10 years before that, what are we at, 41? So somewhere around age 41, you can begin to notice these shifts in your body. And this is the time where your ovulation is becoming less consistent, right? So ovulation is that crescendo part of your cycle that allows you to make a baby. And this season of your life is coming to a close, right? We're moving out of our childbearing years. Puberty, moving into, that would be like a first perimenopause, not perimenopause. We'd have to change the words. But puberty is like we're coming into the childbearing years. And the perimenopause is like we're moving out of the childbearing years. So initially, in those prepubescent years, our ovulation is just starting to come online. We're getting breasts, we're getting pubic hair. These shifts are beginning to happen in our body, and our body is learning to ovulate. And at this stage, on the other end, our body is unlearning or closing the door. We're like, boom, we're done. Had a nice run, but we're done with that and we're ready to move on to the next thing. So your ovulation is becoming less consistent. And when that ovulation is becoming less consistent, your progesterone is becoming inconsistent as well. And that's the first big shift. So estrogen doesn't just decline steadily like progesterone does. It fluctuates. If you pan out or you step back, you will see an overall decline of estrogen, but it's not a steady decline. It's a dip and a rise and a dip and a rise and a dip and a rise over and over and over. until it reaches its new low normal. But that dip in the rise, the dip in the rise, dip in the rise, boom, there's your hot flashes, which is why I'm getting involved in lots of rabbit trails here in my thinking, but which is why women run to HRT, because what estrogen patches and these types of things do is they keep estrogen at a certain higher level so they don't experience the dips anymore, which is what is causing that hot flash. Anyway, so this estrogen is fluctuating over time. Sometimes it's high, sometimes it's low, sometimes it could be both within the same month, which is why you feel crazy. So perimenopause is less about hormone depletion at first, because you're still working with all your hormones. They're just shifting now. It's more about that hormone unpredictability. That unpredictability is exactly what's creating all of these symptoms that you might be experiencing in your life right now. So how do you know if you're in perimenopause? Well, this is the question that I hear constantly, because many women are still having regular periods. Okay, but there are some early signs that I see clinically. And here's a list of them. Number one is our cycles do shorten. Let's say you regularly had a 28-day cycle. Now you're down to 26. Maybe your regular cycles were 32 and now you're down to 30 or 28. So your cycle begins to shorten over time and your periods might get heavier. You might experience more clots, not necessarily any more cramping, but you're going to get clottier periods, really heavy on day 1, almost nothing on day 3, right? When you're used to maybe a 5-day cycle. Increased PMS, that rage and irritability that used to last 1 day before your period might extend itself and might be more severe right before you do get your cycle. Breast tenderness increases. This is a good sign. This is the progesterone decrease in our body. Might get more anxiety right before your cycle hits. New sleep disruptions. Whoa, hello, waking up at 3 a.m., wondering why you're staring at the ceiling again? That magnesium not working so well anymore? Why is that glass of wine doing this to me? I used to be able to drink 3. What's the problem? These sleep disruptions are definitely a sign of perimenopause. The increased irritability right before your period or all cycle long. Again, this is the decreased progesterone. Progesterone makes us feel happy and calm. So without as much of that flowing through us, we can find ourselves raging a little bit more readily. Brain fog. Ever walk into a room and not know where you put your keys or why you were in that room? Or do you call your children by the wrong name? Yeah, okay, that's not just me. Well, heart palpitations, this is common too. Actually, a lot of women get scared about this. And this is a very common sign of perimenopause. And yes, it is alarming. It's like, why? What's happening? Because, number one cause of death for women is cardiovascular disease. So when something starts to happen to our heart, we start to get a little bit nervous for good reason. But these heart palpitations can really take us by surprise. And it is a regular and normal natural part of perimenopause. I'm not saying it's not something that it's not something you don't want to look into, but it is a part of this symptom picture. How about that belly fat? You used to have an hourglass shape, and now you're looking pretty straight. You used to have a waist, and your dresses don't look the same anymore. That weight gain around the midsection, yeah, thank you, perimenopause. Lower stress tolerance. What used to make you maybe a little upset now throws you for a total loop and you start wanting to rage. Something like traffic or something being late or, I don't know, 1,000 things can go in our day, not the way that we planned, and you just feel like you lose it more now than you did before. It's just this overall sense of like feeling not like yourself. So the biggest sign, right? It's like you're doing the same things you've always done and they're not working anymore, right? Your workouts don't give you the same results. Your stress feels harder to recover from. Your usual coping strategies, they're falling flat now. So women get a little nervous and they go to the doctor and they're told your labs are normal. Oh, you're too young for that, or it's just stress. But if you are in your late 30s or 40s and noticing these shifts, Perimenopause may absolutely be part of the picture. And here is something important. It's not a diagnosis of dysfunction. Let me say it louder for those in the back. Let me shout it for the rooftops. It is not a diagnosis of dysfunction. It's a transition. It's a normal, natural, biological shift that your body is meant to do. But transitions do require support, right? So let's go into what's actually happening in your body now. And I'm going to simplify this for you because this can get a little crazy with human physiology and biology. But the hallmark of early perimenopause is just this declining and this inconsistent progesterone, right? As I mentioned before, progesterone, your calming hormone, is supporting your sleep, your mood stability, your fluid balance, and it helps buffer the effects of estrogen. We do want them both. In fact, we're really glad when they travel together and they play nicely. But when that ovulation becomes less predictable, that progesterone drops first. And that's why a lot of many of these early symptoms look like that anxiety or the sleep disruption. The PMS gets, more intense, heavy, clotty periods. Now, later, estrogen fluctuations will become more dramatic, which can contribute to things like hot flashes and skipped periods, etc. But long before hot flashes show up, your nervous system is noticing the change. And if you're already stressed, you're already coming out of years of yo-yo dieting, under-eating, overtraining maybe, or just running on empty. You've put yourself last long enough. Well, your body has paid the bills and the receipts are due. Perimenopause will amplify that stress load. And this is often when women feel like they're falling apart. You're not, but your body just needs a different strategy right now. So let's dive into what you can do to support yourself, okay? Because this is the empowering part. Perimenopause is not just something to survive, right? Like I always like to think with my clients, like some symptoms, they're kind of non-negotiable, but suffering is optional. Nobody has to suffer through this phase of life. I definitely like to say perimenopause does not have to suck. If perimenopause is sucking for you, you need better support. You need a better roadmap. So this phase of life is something that you can navigate strategically, right? So here's where to start. Number 1, stabilize your blood sugar. I can't even tell you how far wide-reaching stabilizing your blood sugar is. But as that estrogen begins to fluctuate, your blood sugar becomes more and more sensitive. You become more insulin resistant as estrogen decreases. Okay, so if you're skipping meals, you're drinking coffee on an empty stomach, or you're under-eating protein, and I promise that you are, unless you're tracking it and you've been working with somebody who tells you to eat more protein, I promise you everybody under-eats protein. These symptoms are going to intensify. So here's some quick wins, quick fixes. We need at least 30 grams of protein every single meal. This is a non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. If you're 35 plus and you're not eating at least 30 grams of protein at every single meal, well, you're making life harder on yourself. And you don't have to choose this path. You have to have a little bit of a learning curve to figure out what 30 grams of protein looks like and is, right? How much Greek yogurt is that? How much ground beef is that? How much chicken breast is that? If I eat a salad and salmon for lunch, will that cover it? Like, you got to do a little bit of learning here. You got to invest in yourself in this learning. But once you have this knowledge, you use it for the rest of your life. And it's not as hard as it sounds. I want you to eat within an hour of waking. Okay? None of this, but I'm not hungry business. None of this running through Starbucks and getting one egg white bite and a protein latte, whatever that is. Okay? I want you to eat a real breakfast within an hour of waking. Pairing carbs with protein and fat. Stop eating carbs on their own. I'm not going to say never eat chips, never eat crackers, never eat a banana, but just pair those with a protein and fat and your blood sugar will thank you. This alone dramatically improves sleep and your mood stability. The second thing is you're going to prioritize nervous system regulation. Doesn't it sound so much fancier than just stress less? Okay, because who can just stress less? So progesterone is calming. Your progesterone's dropping. You need to build that calm intentionally. So this might look like going on a nice walk instead of waking up for Orange Theory. strength training 3 days a week instead of going to the gym 5 days a week or 7 days a week. It might look like putting your phone down and doing breath work before bed instead of scrolling. It might look like going to bed earlier and protecting your sleep like it's non-negotiable. The thing is that I can give you a ton of supplements. I can run every test on you, but you really cannot out-supplement chronic stress in perimenopause. This is where the lifestyle piece comes in, and it's really not as overwhelming as it might sound. Number 3, rethink your workouts, right? I kind of touched on this, but what worked for you at 30 may not work at 42. So if you have like excessive high intensity training, that's going to spike your cortisol. It's going to worsen your symptoms overall. So things like strength training and recovery become essential. No more of these, 60-minute cardio classes. This is one of the first things that we adjust inside my program, because when women shift their exercise strategy, inflammation drops and symptoms improve way faster than you would expect. It's really fun to see. And number 4 is you have every ability to assess where you're at. Don't guess. And this is critical. Many women assume that they have estrogen dominance, so they start random supplements, something they saw on Instagram, right? And maybe it wasn't the estrogen at all. Maybe it was their gut. Maybe it was their liver. Maybe their methylation isn't optimized. Okay? It actually is a little bit more complicated and deeper than whatever your friend is doing or whatever Instagram is telling you. So if you're not evaluating things like your thyroid function, your iron status, where's your ferritin at? Blood sugar markers. Do you know your fasting insulin number? If it's not under 6, you need to come talk to me. Ovulation quality. Do you even know that you ovulate? Women come and work to me and they're like, yeah, I get my period every 28 days. Great. What day is your ovulation? They have no clue. They have no clue. This is like an essential part of being a female. We got to learn these things about our bodies, and I teach you how to do this. So without all these things, you're just guessing. Perimenopause actually is kind of nuanced, right? It's not generic recommendations for everybody. So this is exactly why I created the balanced hormone solution. Because in my program, I don't just ever tell anybody, yeah, it's just perimenopause. I'm assessing your physiology. I'm identifying what's driving your particular symptoms. And I'm building a phased plan so you're never throwing random solutions at a moving target. Ugh, my pet peeve. So what I want you to know is that perimenopause is not the beginning of a decline. I want you to think of it like a recalibration phase. But if you try to push through it with the same habits that worked in your 20s and 30s, you're going to feel like you're losing control. And that's when women start thinking, well, maybe this is just how it is now. Maybe this is just aging. But it's not. With the right strategy, many women actually feel more stable, stronger, and more grounded in perimenopause than they did in their 30s. Can you even imagine that? Can you imagine your 40s being the best decade of your life? That's what I'm here for. Okay, but it requires support. It requires accountability. It requires a roadmap that works for you. So if you find yourself in your late 30s or 40s, your symptoms are increasing, you're feeling dismissed, confused, you're tired of guessing, you do not have to figure out this alone. So if you want to work with me inside the Balanced Hormone Solution, we walk step by step, hand in hand. You get unlimited support. We stabilize your stress physiology, your nervous system. Your noise in your brain and your body starts to quiet for the first time, and you don't even know how long. We support ovulation and progesterone, optimize thyroid metabolism. That hourglass shape begins to come back. Women are fitting back in their wedding dresses from 30 plus years ago. It's the most amazing thing. I love watching these women get healthier than they ever could imagine was even possible. So perimenopause is a whole lot more than hot flashes, skipped periods, and you deserve more than just wait it out. You'll get on the other side and everything will normalize. If you're ready for clarity, a personalized roadmap, details are in the show notes. All right, let's hop on a call. Let me tell you how it works. If it's a good fit for you, we'll jump in. If it's not, I'll definitely give you some free resources and point you in another direction. Okay, so thank you for being here. Remember, this is not the beginning of a decline. It's an invitation to rebalance. I will see you next time on the Balanced Hormone Solution. That's it for today's episode of the Balanced Hormone Solution podcast. If this resonated, don't just listen, do something about it. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And if you know another woman who's tired of feeling like a stranger in her own body, send her this way. For more support, check out the show notes. I've got resources to help you get started. Just remember, your body isn't broken. You just need the right tools. See you next time.